Welcome, Clara artists. So in this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to take an image like this one that I have here and model on top of it. So we're going to use it as reference. My previous video showed you how to, from scratch, import an image like a brick and grass texture and apply it to a simple plane. So let's get started. All right, so I'm going to go and start by creating a brand new scene. And here we go. I'm going to start off by just creating a plane. There it is there. And I'm going to come over here to Material Library. I'm going to take the texture that I've downloaded, drag and drop it right in. And it should show up here in Material Library. And here it is over here like that. If I went a little too fast for you on that, then please watch the previous video. Okay. Create a new standard material. There we go. And assign the image. Good. Drag and drop. Okay. Let's see. Now I don't want this to be shiny because I'm going to be modeling on top of it. So don't forget to remove the shine. And something else that I didn't show in the last video is that when you select, or actually, when you click on the material, right up here in the diffuse section where you choose the image, you do have the color picker here. And you'll notice that we have a middle gray. A middle gray. If you choose your color picker, you will see that you can change the color here. So I'm going to go ahead and choose just pure white, just so it's nice and easy there. Okay, so now, all right, so I'm going to focus on, I definitely want to be more than just one view. The two most important views are going to be the top and the perspective, I believe. So I'm going to come up here and let's see. Oops. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to do this vertical one. So I want to do that and combine those two, and then do that and combine those two. There we go. Okay, so I have my perspective view so I can see what the heck's going on. And then I've got my top-down view so I can see, that's going to be my main working view. Okay, so I'm going to change from wireframe view, I'm going to change to realistic. And I think I'll turn on show edges. There we go. So I've got a top view and I've got my perspective view. Okay, that's it. Now I'm not going to model this entire thing. I'm just going to show you the most important steps. So let's get going. So this is a technique that I used to use a lot when I used to model in other 3D programs like Blender and Lightwave. I did this for architecture and just for fun. You can just take your sketches for game levels and maps and things like that, and just take a photo of them with your camera, and then get them in here to Clara, and then now you can model on top of them, which is really a lot of fun. So where to start? I'm going to go ahead and let's see. Can I resize my window? That would be cool, Clara. It doesn't seem that I can resize my window. Like you can't in Blender, unfortunately. In Blender, you can resize your window and make one of them larger than the other, but I don't see that you can do that. So, okay, maybe in a future update. Okay, so I am going to be zooming and panning and orbiting quite a bit. So make sure that you know how to do that. To pan, I'm holding down the control key and the middle mouse button, so the mouse wheel. To zoom, it's the scroll wheel. And then to orbit in the perspective window, it's just holding down the mouse wheel and then orbiting around. And I am using a 3-button mouse for this. You can use a trackpad. There are controls for the trackpad. That was in one of my very first videos, so if you go back to the playlist and watch that, I do cover that. It is possible, but it is definitely more difficult on a trackpad only than just a mouse. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in, and I'm not going to follow this floor plan exactly, but I'm going to get pretty darn close. All right, so I'm going to start with a new plane, and the new plane comes in, and I'm going to rename my objects over here just so it's a little clearer. So this first plane is the floor plan. So again, I'll double click it. Okay, and then this is going to be the castle. Or it's going to be, yeah, we'll just call it castle wall. Okay, so now the plane is there. I'm going to select the castle wall, and then in the perspective view, I'm going to click and drag it up so it's floating above the floor plan. And you can see now, of course, it's completely covering it up. I'm going to scale it down. So I'm going to come up here and click on scale, which is also the letter R on the keyboard. And then I'm going to come here and I'm going to click and drag on that white dot. And when I do that, it's going to scale the whole thing. Okay, so I'm just going to do that until I can't see it anymore. And then I'm going to go back to the move tool and I'm going to drag and move it to where I want to start modeling. So I want to start kind of over here in the bottom left-hand corner. I'm going to press F to focus and zoom in, and then I'm going to scale again. So go back to scale, and I'm just going to get it roughly the size of the walls here. Okay, I think that's good enough for now. Okay, great. Okay, so now it's time to edit. I'm going to come up here in the top left, and I'm going to go to the Tools tab. And remember that we have our 4 different selection modes. This is the entire object, editing faces, edges, and vertices. So I'm going to go with edges here. And I'm going to select this edge right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and start dragging it out. So this is where zooming and panning is going to become incredibly important. Okay, so now I'm getting ready to do my first turn. So what you want to do is I want to come up right here before it gets ready for this turn here. And you want to stop right there. Because now what you want to do is you want to come over here and click on extrude. So this took me a little while to get used to because I'm coming from Blender. And so it just does it differently. So after you press extrude, I found that you want to come out here and you then want to click your mouse once. Then you see the axes handles, and then you click and drag out the new extrusion. So you can see that little bit there. Let me focus in on it over here in the perspective window. So you can see that there. Now it is showing up slightly different color, and I'm not sure why that is. It's facing the correct direction, so I'm not sure why that is. I'll try applying like a stone texture or something to this so that way it's not just gray, but that's my understanding there. So now I want to go the other direction, so I'll just select a new edge, extrude, and that's the funny thing is after I press the extrude, I can't like click and drag it out. Oh, there we go, wait. There we go. Okay, so it does work. You can click and drag it straight out, so you can absolutely do that. Seem to have been giving me problems before, so I'll show you that again. Okay, so now we've got this weird like T shape. So what do? So we're going to be doing a lot of extrusions, and that's pretty much it. So I'm going to do an extrude, and then I'm going to click and drag. It seems to go really slowly. So I'm not going to do that anymore. So the way that I recommend doing it is simply click extrude, click out here in the top view, you get your arrows back, and then just move on. To me, that just seems like it works better. Okay, so now I've got my sections here. Now I can come back here and select this edge here, another extrusion, another click, and then the extrusion. So zoom out a little bit, and you get the idea. That's pretty much it. So you just kind of have to map this out and just kind of keep going. So I'm going to go ahead and tackle a couple more walls here, and then I'll show you how you would get close to finishing. So I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so I've modeled this whole section here that you see covered up in gray. Let me show you a mistake that is going to happen every once in a while. Okay, so take a look at this wall section here. You can see that I extruded here, but I forgot to do an extrusion right here. So now I can't make this little wall right here that my mouse is going over. So what do? Do you undo this whole section? No, you don't. So what you do is you can do what's called cutting a plane. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click on the plane selection mode, and I'm going to click on the plane that I need to work with, and I'm going to click on it and select it. And so basically I need to have a line, I need to have an edge cut right about there. So if you come over here and look on the left hand side, there are two tools that look like they would work, and I've tried them both. Cut plane and slice plane. Slice plane will slice, it'll make a cut, but then it will delete a section. We don't want it to delete, we just want it to make a cut. So we're going to choose cut plane. So when you do that, you're going to come out here, and I'm going to put my mouse pointer away from the plane, and I'm going to click once and then move my mouse, and you'll see a cut line is being drawn from my mouse. Now I'm not holding down my left mouse button, I just click once to start the cut. And then I'll go ahead and I'll put it right about here. Now I'm purposefully not putting the cut line directly where it needs to go because I want to show you that you can move it. So there you go. The cut is now done. These are now two planes. So now, let's say you didn't put the edge where you want it to go, just select it in edge mode. Grab the move tool, and we should be able to, ooh, that's interesting. So we should be able to, the edge is selected, but it puts the handles, the axis handles, way out here. So I have to do that. You can see that I am moving it. So that's kind of a minor thing. I know that there is a fix for it, but that gets into a little bit more changing the pivot points of an object. So I'm going to wait on that to show that to my students. So there you go. Obviously, if you can avoid making that mistake, then you're all set, but that's it. Okay, so now let's assume that I'm pretty happy with this. So imagine that I've done this entire thing. So now where do I go from here? So the next step is to extrude. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to select, let's see if I can do, I can't do the entire object. I have to have it in face mode because I need the extrude tool. So I'm going to select face mode, and I need to select all of the faces. Okay, so I'm going to come here in top view. You want to be careful to not do it in the perspective view. Actually, it looks like it works. We want to make sure that we don't select the floor plan over here. So you can do it in the top view or the perspective view. Click and drag a selection box around all of your faces, and then let go, and they'll highlight in red. Just make sure that the floor plan is not selected. Then come over here and click on the extrude tool, and then we're going to go ahead and extrude them up in the Y axis. And I'm going to go ahead and drag them up, and that is the magic right there. Look how cool that is. That is awesome. That puts a big smile on my face. Now, obviously, it's floating above. We would take care of that real quickly, but it's good to keep your objects separate. So obviously, you don't want to do this extrusion until you're done with all of the floor plan. But there you go. It's a lot of fun. And once you master this technique, it's so easy. Okay, I hope this tutorial helps you out. Sorry that it was a little bit of a longer one there, but again, it's an important one. It's gonna serve you. All right, thanks everyone. I will see you next time. Bye.